24-28, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they only ran the ball 3 times. Now, it's hard to win games in the league. And the problem that Russ is under, and we've seen some other quarterbacks under this kind of duress, when you have to go 100 miles an hour, because you know, Skip, if I don't get to 30-plus points, I'm not winning because my defense can't stop anybody. It puts so much pressure on you. He has to hold on to the ball. He has to take unnecessary risks. But what he cannot do, when your defense is playing as poorly as it is, you can't turn it over. Skip, he threw a pick in the end zone. He had he had an interception. He had 2 fumbles. And so now he exacerbates a problem that's already bad. So for me, if I had to give blame, Skip, I'm gonna say it's 55-45 Russ. Because what we've seen in the last 2 of the last 3 weeks, as you mentioned earlier, Russ is putting the ball, that's 7 turnovers. That's 7 turnovers in 2 games, and they've lost. Russ put up 34 points, and you would think, man, 34. Skip, that game was never close. That game wasn't close.
Didn't they get it to 27 to 20?
And then boom, he gone again. And then right back down the field. There's a reason why, Skip, they tried to trade for Aldon Smith. There's a reason why they were in the bidding for Jadeveon Clowney, because they can't rush the passer. And because if you can't rush the passer, I don't care how good your secondary is, and I don't think their secondary is really that good. When you can't put pressure on the quarterback and you let Skip, Josh Allen went 31 of 38 for 415. Let that sink in. A guy missed 7 throws on 38 attempts for 415. 55-45 Russ. But this defense, it's getting worse. I thought, they figured things out. They're getting worse, Skip.
First of all, Russ just fell right out of the MVP lead. And second of all, I don't think Seattle's defense is nearly as bad as you say it is or think it is. So, again, maybe I'm a prisoner of watching too much Dallas Cowboy defense. That's been a bad defense. That's been historically bad.
They passed the Cowboys now.
Well, I don't think they have, because coming into this game, Pro Football Focus had them ranked 13th overall. It's not great, but it's certainly not bad. And you say they can't rush the passer. They sacked Josh Allen 7 times. I would have taken 7 sacks of Big Ben yesterday.
You would have taken 1 sack of Big Ben.
I would, because they got him 1 time, and it got nullified by a robbery penalty on Jalen Smith.
But Skip, it's that at some point in time, you got to say, you know what? We got to just run the football. We got to take some of this pressure off Russ. Skip, they're asking Russ to do too much.
Okay, look who you do have on the defense, though. With Jamal Adams back, is he not as good a safety blitzer as there is in football? So he had a sack and a half yesterday. Jaron Reed is always, he's a stud. He's a first-round pick. He had 2.5 sacks.
Right.
And then KJ Wright can blitz. He had a sack. And your man Bobby Wags, B-Wags, he had a sack. They just added Carlos Dunlap. I love Carlos Dunlap, and he did not love it in Cincinnati. And all of a sudden, he's free, and he's rolling, and he had 3 tackle for losses and 1 sack. Okay? That all adds up to firepower. They shouldn't be as bad as they were.
But you give up 40. Think about what you just said. They had 7 sacks and gave up 44 points.
Okay? And yet, what a weird day it was in Buffalo, New York. They caught like a summer day, which actually benefited the home team. You would think that the Bills are built for foul weather, like that game they played at night when they stunk. But Josh Allen acted like it was summertime again, and I'm out just playing catch.
I said, that Josh Allen or Jim Kelly?
Well, seriously, because he just lit them up.
He lit it up.
And I've told you from the start, Buffalo was my dark horse Super Bowl pick in the AFC. And they have risen, they have fallen, but they rose yesterday, and all of a sudden they look like they are back in gear.
And that's the thing, Skip, is that the reason, I think one of the reasons why you get a guy like Josh Allen, he played in Wyoming. Conditions. Conditions are going to be terrible more times than not.
It was beautiful. It was like 75 degrees and no wind.
A big guy that can throw through any elements. Now you give him a 70-degree day, basically a 65, 70-degree day, and he lights up Seattle. Skip, look, I thought Russ. I think I picked this on Fox Bay. I said Buffalo, not Buffalo. I think Seattle win by 3. Skip, I did not see this. I did not see Buffalo getting 44 points. But when you turn the ball over like Russ did, and he started to press, Skip, he started to press like, okay, we're down 14, we're down 21. I got to make a throw. And then they're like, okay, we're just going to sit back here because we know you can't run it. You got to throw it. And
look, I really believe in Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. So this may be a little bit of a cheap shot, but after these big loss, high turnover games, he takes no blame. And yesterday got me, and I didn't watch the whole interview, but from the sound bites I saw, he takes no blame.
What did he say?
He was saying, basically, I'm just paraphrasing, that, hey, we played very well on offense. We just needed to score a few more points. We needed to get to 45, and we couldn't get to 45. And it's to your point, he's trying to do too much.
Right.
But at some point, you have to say, man, I turned it over 4 times. Not twice. I turned it over 4 times.
And, we needed to get to 45, but I helped them get to 44. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you're right, Skip. You can't continue because you had the game won. You wouldn't have lost to Arizona if you don't turn the ball over 3 times and you threw one in the end zone, and here's another one.
And you threw it one in overtime.
Right, and you threw another one in the end zone yesterday, Skip, and then you threw one that Tre'Davious White ran down to the 1 yard, 2 yard line.
Right, and he fooled you on a zone that looked like they dropped back into cover 4. He just got fooled, and he threw it right to Tre'Davious White.
And then guess what? You got a sack fumble. The guy took it right out of your hands, and then you was running around, and the guy chopped and you fumbled again. Russ, you had 4 turnovers. If your defense is not playing, whatever the case may be, if it's defensively, if your offense isn't playing well, you can't give up cheap touchdowns on defense. If your defense isn't playing well, you can't turn the ball over.
Right. So if you eliminate all 4 of these turnovers, does Seattle win this game? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he threw a pick in the end zone.
Yeah.
And then you allowing them, because what happened, Skip, like you said, you basically gave them 7 points because White ran the ball down to the 2.
Okay. So, again, Russ has had issues in the past with Legion of Boom, where it's quarterback versus defense. If he's not careful, he's going to have another quarterback versus defense issue going on here.
And that Russ was terrible on 3rd down. They were 3 of 12 for 25%. I mean, it was close everywhere else. But you can't turn it over 4 times. And I don't care how good your defense is. It's hard to overcome that, Skip. 4 turnovers. That was the one thing that was getting us beat. I mean, even with the 2000 Ravens, and this Seahawks team isn't the 2000 Ravens. When we turned the ball over twice, because they were getting the ball on the 2 yard line. I mean, we're asking them, sometimes they hold them to field goal, but you can't do that, Skip.
Nope.
You cannot turn the ball over 4 times and win in this league. Nobody, I don't know if there's a team that good, that consistent. And what we're seeing with Russ is that he has these high turnover games, Skip. We're not talking about 1. We're talking about 4. We're talking about 3.
Yep.
You're getting beat on those days.
So I guess Brady creeped back into the MVP league, didn't he?
You saw an MVP Thursday night, and you saw an MVP yesterday. I told you.
Who?
You know who.
Who?
You know who. A-Rod, right in the mix.
A-Rod's back in the mix?
24-2.
After that disaster he had at Tampa Bay?
Let me ask you a question. Was that disaster he had in Tampa Bay worse than what your guy had in